everybody. Welcome to Mayor Elizabeth Jones's Friday Hour.
I'll call the police. But what my dad used to always say. If you brats don't behave yourself tonight, I'm calling the police. They can't arrest us. We're just kids. He
I
goes,
know.
there's a reform school, which you're a
Yeah.
whole wing dedicated to you, Kevin. Oh, by the way, my name is Kaye Lazar, so thanks for having me here on another scintillating episode of what's the name of the show?
Mary Elizabeth Jones's Friday Hour.
Ah, yes. And the variety today is a lovely seaside
Yes.
and
Beautiful.
everything.
Yeah.
Actually, the real variety is this weekend. What's going on this weekend?
Yes. We are going to be in the Let It Be Beatles show.
The Beatles show, yeah.
It's a musical, and it's kind of like a sing along, to the tribute for the Beatles. So.
All right.
And we're so excited about it. It's going to be great.
There are a lot of shows sort of in this vein. Like you've probably seen the movies, like the one with Peter Frampton, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. There's the Bee Gees, of course. There's a movie, did a little better version. They always have either have an all-star cast or they try to make some sort of great story out of it.
Yeah.
A movie about, I guess, about 15 years ago called Across the Universe.
Oh, okay.
I remember both movies not having a whole lot of dialogue or plot for that matter. Just try to string along a bunch of Beatles songs and make a plot out of it.
Yeah.
Now Mamma Mia with ABBA songs, they actually have a plot.
Yeah.
But this show actually has a plot. But if you ask me, I can't tell you. I mean, I can't figure out what it is because there's no real dialogue in the show. It's all basically the dialogue is the Beatles libretto
Yeah.
of I guess about 20 songs or so.
Yeah.
And the plot I could think of I guess it takes place in the 1960s with the Beatles songs as being the dialogue, and there's a grandfather and a family.
And a grandmother.
Well, it has to do with how the 1960s and then the Vietnam War and serving in the military and all that stuff is going into that. So there's like and then there's and then I come in, I play a cynical politician and I get to play the villain.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, I'm wearing my Beatles tie. Can you tell what this is? It is believe it or not, it is a the Beatles aren't on the tie, but it's actually the Magical Mystery Tour. This has the Beatles, the Apple and everything.
Yeah.
They used the Apple before Steve Jobs
so
did.
cool.
Yeah. So this is the Magical Mystery Tour. Oh, by the way, Richard Lewis had a tour where he performed his jokes, and he called the Magical Misery Tour. I always thought that was a funny play on words.
I will be betraying a Bohemian Bubble Girl
There you go.
in the show.
A bubble girl? Will you blow bubbles?
Well, I haven't had any, bubbles, but
I'm
love
forever
her.
blowing bubbles. That's not a Beatles song. What? It's a song from the
I have,
1890s.
Well, I have quite a few solos in the show.
Yeah, okay.
So
What do you sing?
I sing Help,
Help. Okay.
and also I'm singing Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm singing it was like that meditation kind of sounding song before that song, um Strawberry Fields Forever.
You sing Strawberry Fields Forever. Wow.
Yeah. No.
That's the song that's the weird song in the Beatles, whole Beatles can. It's probably the weirdest song of them
And
all.
also, him and I both are doing a duet on Twist and Shout.
It's a real rabble rouser.
Yes.
We're going to put Ferris Bueller to shame
Yeah.
with our version. We actually will sing our version, not lip sync it.
Right.
And Twist and Shout is we that in fact we don't I think you play the bubble girl, I play the politician.
Yeah.
And well, I'll tell you about that in a moment. We play. I guess it's our only duet we sing in together, and it's a we sing it at like a Sonny and Cher style,
Yeah, yeah,
and I dress a little differently. I think it's the first time you really see me in the show, even though I'm there in the ensemble. Yeah, I
yeah,
actually step to the upstage and start singing, with
yeah,
you,
yeah,
and then after that I play this politician, not a nice guy,
yeah,
a very cynical guy, and uh, and I play a square, who's a square who sings Beatles songs.
yeah,
That's part of my part. So I sing like Helter Skelter, Revolution, and I also sing Come Together.
yes.
Okay, so I sing about 4 songs in the whole
Yeah,
show.
I sing that too, so.
Well, yeah, a lot of us sing, and a lot of songs come back to reprise the song, and we
Yeah,
s- and we
yeah,
sing it again.
yeah.
And also we sing like in Moulin Rouge, we sing like parts of one song and parts of another song, and they kind of smoosh
Right.
it together.
Yeah.
That's we have to make it a little different than other shows. So that's and also the characters have names. My character doesn't have a name, and you're in the character, but there are names like Lucy, and there is
JoJo,
JoJo. These are
Molly,
yeah, these are characters
Desmond,
in Beatles songs.
Grandma Jones,
Yeah,
Grandpa Jones.
yeah. And there's no Mr. Kite and there's no Prudence, but other than that,
Yeah.
there should be.
Yeah.
But what happened was, but I got to tell you something. It wasn't until I actually read the whole thing and how it blended against, saw it performed in rehearsals and everything, that I realized that nobody ever calls them Lucy or Susie or Molly or JoJo.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just for us to follow who sings what.
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
you're just, and let me tell you something. We all have um, we all have our solos to sing. We all have our. But really, let's face it, when there's all these Beatles songs in this show, everyone's going to be singing along.
Right.
If
I
you've ever
mean,
been to a live performance or even to the movie versions of Oklahoma or The Sound of Music or West Side Story, everyone in the audience is singing along to those or mouthing along to the words, lyrics of the song. So I find it hard to believe no one's not going to do this in this
yeah,
show.
right,
So
right.
so I'm having a hard time saying, "Oh, that's not your solo. Oh, that's my solo. Don't sing over my." Everyone's going to be singing over my
Yeah,
solo.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So, and it's this weekend in Hopewell, Virginia.
Yeah,
It's there's a Saturday night show at 7, and there's a Sunday afternoon show at 2.
yeah,
And we'd like to sing you one of the songs, but we're not because that's you have to come and see us sing it, and you'll
yeah,
have a better time seeing us live doing it
yeah.
because it's seeing things in person is always much better.
Mm,
But we could talk about it and
right,
everything.
right.
And you know what? The way these shows have been going on is it's at a coffee place,
Gun cotton.
the Gun Cotton Coffee
We
Place.
had a show there before.
We had a show there. It's a
It's
nice. It's
called
it
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, but that was then. The show we're doing now is now you know what a coffee place is, like Starbucks or one of those
Yes,
places where
yes,
everyone's sitting in lounges and playing music and everything.
yeah,
This is there, right in the back. There's like a wedding reception area, and that's going to be the theater, and that's where we're going to do the show. So there's going to be plenty of room, plenty of tickets for hopefully, if you
yeah,
come, there will be unless we truly sell out and the fire department makes a fuss.
right.
There should be but it's a good idea to buy them online. So we're going to put in the comments uh, where
Yeah,
you can get them online, these tickets. So we'd hate for you to drive all the way
yeah,
outside 40 miles outside of 30, 40 miles outside of
exactly.
Richmond
Yeah,
and then not be able to come in just
yeah,
because of the fire laws.
right.
So be sure to get your tickets online. Now
Yeah,
we're going to have it at a coffee place. It's kind of cool.
yeah,
Now this coffee place is it's like any coffee place like Starbucks or anything. Now I think people make the wrong mistake when they go to these coffee places. They buy their coffee to go and then they take off.
yeah,
Yeah, I've said this many times on this show and certainly on other shows,
yeah,
that I think the whole point when you go to a coffee place is you should sit and listen to the music
yeah,
and play with the free Wi-Fi
yeah,
and use their bathroom. I mean,
yeah,
you're drinking coffee. Let's face it.
yeah. I mean,
The price, the coffees at these places are so expensive. They're so overpriced
yeah,
that I think it's included in the price that you get to go to the bathroom at least twice.
right, right. Yeah.
You go when you first get there, and then you go right before you leave. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they kind of they kind of mess it up for you though, because the bathroom's usually just one stall. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not like the ballpark where,
Right.
where,
Yeah.
where it's like about 20
Yeah.
stalls.
Yeah.
But so it's going to be at so you can get coffee and watch the show. I don't know what else they sell. I never go to these places.
Yeah.
These restaurants will go out of business if they depend on me.
Yeah.
Once I stop drinking, I've no more use for these places.
Yeah.
Now, um, uh, also when we do these shows, they're always selling souvenirs and a gift shop and everything, and they're always you know what they're selling a lot at these places? They're like LuLaRoe.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a great company.
yeah. How, what do you have to say about it?
Um, I think it's worth it because like it's real comfortable. And
What for the person selling all that stuff?
well, not that person selling it because I, I tell you why. Because when you start, I heard
Mm-hmm.
I haven't sold LuLaRoe, but I
Oh,
have some
okay,
friends that do.
okay.
So anyway, if you want to sell LuLaRoe, you're gonna have to like buy the whole package deal thing,
Mm-hmm.
which is I heard it's pretty expensive.
You mean the person selling it,
Yes,
the wholesaler?
yes,
And then they sell it to their friends at a markup. Okay.
yes. hmm
And but it's yeah, I saw a thing on TV about it. It's kind of my friends seem to be doing all right at it, but it looks to me like something I don't want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather just be a customer.
Yeah,
I love the product.
yeah,
I love the clothes.
yeah. But
Cause
what do you ever sell any of this stuff?
I used to sell years ago. I used to sell Avon, Tupperware, Pampered Chef, Scentsy.
What's
Um,
Scentsy?
Scentsy is like a
Steak knives?
no. It's like they're like candles, but they're not candles.
Hmm.
You just put wax in it and it melts, and it makes the place smell really good.
I know Scentsy. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean it's good stuff. I mean I
hmm,
like Scentsy.
hmm,
I just quit selling it because I wasn't making enough money.
yeah.
Otherwise, I used to sell Avon too, and that I didn't make a lot of money in that either.
No.
So, and let me tell you a
I
little.
used to sell candy bars when I was a kid for part of school,
Yeah,
and I wound up eating almost all my profits. Really. I mean, I wound up being my best customer because my parents wouldn't buy me any candy, so there was some candy here. So said you get a nickel a week allowance. It's going
yeah,
to take you a long time to pay off these candy bars,
yeah,
and it
and
did.
also when I used to sell Avon, when I
Mhm.
first sold Avon, and I went to church. I sold Avon at church. I was passing around the catalogs and everything.
Yeah,
And all people wanted to do is just look at the catalogs, and
yeah.
and nobody wanted to buy anything.
What's so great
I
about the
was like,
catalog?
I mean,
Must have been some catalog.
yeah, I was a little upset. I was a little discouraged because some people said they already had a representative, and some people said they didn't have the money,
Oh
and
yeah.
some other people said I just want to look at the book.
Okay. Yeah.
So I
You
didn't
want the
really
catalog? You have someone else? You don't have any money? Get
give
lost.
give it to me, give me back the catalog.
Give me back the
Because I'm
catalog.
not going to waste my time giving you the catalog if you're not
Yeah.
going to buy anything.
Yeah. What do you got? You
You know
might.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Are they gonna cut it and put bug spray on it and hang it as fly paper or something?
It was bad. I was in my early 20s when I sold it.
Hmm.
I was about 23 or 24, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, I've never been in part of these things because I never I was first off, I'm a lousy customer.
Yeah. They're called
And
that's what
I'm even worse, lousy salesman.
they're called multi-level marketing,
Yeah.
called MLMs for short.
LMLO.
And some people do say that it's a like a rip-off scam because eh, I forgot what they said about it actually, but they said that it was like a scam.
You know what somebody told me was a scam when I was a kid? I mean, not that it was a scam, but there wasn't all to it. Paper boys.
Yeah.
When you're first job, a lot of boys get in those
Mhm.
days was being a paper boy.
Right.
And what a paper boy from people would tell me that they would grab all these papers wholesale, or they were sold wholesale to the from the newspaper to the boys. They would, with their bicycles, wake up very early in the morning, like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Well, that kind of threw me off right there. And then they would be given a bill at the end, and part of the bill was, um, you would have to pay what you collected that week from the people. Go to their house and pay what they. Now, what happened was a lot of people weren't there to collect. A lot of people,
Wow.
a lot of people canceled, and then you're kind of stuck holding the bag,
Yeah.
And I remember there was a friend of mine who was a paper boy, and he seemed to do all right with it. But a couple of days he could not make it, and his mother asked me if I would help, and they had a car, and I would just she would drive around, and I would but it was still at 5 in the morning and everything. I think they gave me $1 to do it that morning.
Wow.
It was a lot of money back then
Wow.
for a kid anyway. And so but that kind of gave me a taste of business that I was just not an
Yeah.
entrepreneur,
Yeah.
you know. For one thing, I don't like asking money from people.
Yeah. I
That's
don't
why
either.
people, I fear people that I owe money to. I always walk the other way.
Right. Right.
Oh no, I
Right.
don't have that $10 I owe 'em.
Right. Right.
And people feel the same about me when they owe me money. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so how do you get money out of people?
Well, kind of hard to explain it. I mean, if I really need the money, I would,
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
hey, can I borrow and I'll pay you back or whatever.
No, I'm talking about for when they owe you money from Tupperware and Avon and all that stuff.
Oh, I just
I never ask for money from my friends. That's why I still have so many friends.
yeah, I never really asked money, from
Yeah.
my friends either. So.
But I'm talking about when they owe you money for stuff they bought you.
Oh, like you have to call them and say, you know, this is,
Uh,
you know.
can I pay you next week for that? I know you owe it tomorrow, but I'm
Oh
good for
yeah,
next week.
they're gonna ask that too. Say, can I pay you tomorrow or
Yeah.
next week? And I forgot what I actually said back then, but I'd be like, well, you better pay me when you can, because
Or I'm taking a baseball bat to your house.
yeah,
You go to the door with a baseball bat, like in The
yeah,
Sopranos. All
yeah.
right, where's that $20?
I
You're like Joe
remember,
Pesci.
I remember one time when I ordered a lot of stuff for customers and all
Yeah,
that. I had um a collection agency would call me saying that I owe money, and I
yeah,
got it all paid off, thank goodness.
yeah,
But it was horrible.
yeah,
Yeah. I didn't know a collection agency would call you and saying, "Hey, you owe us money."
yeah. And for what company was this?
Avon?
Avon.
Yeah.
Oh, Avon gets tough.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
those
That's
are
about the only company that, yes,
shook
that
you down. Yeah,
yeah.
and yeah, and that's why I don't. It was important. I think I saw it on an episode of the Golden Girls on one of these shows where when they someone was involved in selling stuff, and part of the deal was when those things started, women usually didn't work outside the home. They were
Uh-huh.
housewives,
Yeah.
or they lived with their parents or something,
Yeah.
and thus this was a way for them to have some like pocket money.
Yeah,
So
cuz that's
they
why
didn't
I
make a
wanted
lot of money, but it was like a good second job or
yeah.
something.
That's why I wanted to sell it at first, because I thought I would make an extra money. Because I was still applying for jobs back then
Mhm.
after I lost one of my jobs.
Yeah. Then what happens is but then you start, people figure out how good a businessman they are.
Yeah.
I remember at school, they were running so many scams when I was in school. We had to sell like Christmas seals. We had to
Oh
we
yeah.
had to sell, what else we sell? We had to sell aluminum pans,
Oh
like
yeah.
foil pans.
Yeah.
aluminum foil pans. That was weird, having to go. Yeah, and usually people felt sorry for me and would buy stuff from me because I was only like about 8 years old.
I remember when I
But
was
they
in
wouldn't feel sorry for a
yeah.
25-year-old.
I remember when I was in middle school and high school. In middle school, we used to sell magazines.
Oh yeah.
I hated that, but
Oh
I
yeah.
did do pretty well in that. You
Yeah.
know.
What magazine do people like to buy?
I think it was. Wow, I can't remember, but
Was it Time magazine?
probably
Was it Playboy?
no, they didn't have all that.
Playboy.
They had, I think, Southern Living
Oh yeah.
and some other ones. I think.
Oh, Southern Living. A lot of those like architectural magazines
Yeah.
just bore the heck out of me.
Right. Yeah.
This is a this is a fancy person's house or a person's fancy house.
Yeah.
This is a house you'll never live in.
Yeah.
And
And
people are impressed.
and in high school, when I used to do chorus, I was in ninth grade, and
Mm.
we used to sell candy,
Yeah,
and I didn't do well with that at all.
yeah. I told you my
Um,
story. Yeah,
my chorus teacher got so mad at me
yeah.
because I promised her that I would sell well because I was trying to sell and I couldn't do it because nobody wanted to buy from me. So I came up to my chorus teacher one time. I think she asked me if I ever sold. And I came up to her and I was like, I'm sorry, I tried, I couldn't sell. Then she grabbed the candy. Then
Hmm.
she just threw it on the in one of the boxes.
Oh,
And she was like, I'm disappointed in you.
yeah.
But I was trying to sell, but I couldn't.
And let me tell you something about a lot of these things. They make a good profit, the candy company,
Yeah.
using like this free labor that they pay a pittance of a donation probably to the chorus or to the whatever it is. I have a friend who wouldn't be in the Girl Scouts. I said, why don't you want to join the Girl Scouts? He goes, I don't want to be part of a pyramid scheme selling cookies.
Yeah.
And from what I gather, people like to buy Girl Scout
I do
cookies,
like Girl Scout cookies.
and they taste
Yeah, I
very
mean,
good and
yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah.
But at the same time, all I know about the Girl Scouts is selling cookies. And when I was in the Boy Scouts, I didn't sell anything.
Right.
I was just being a Boy Scout, camping
Yeah.
and tying knots and
Yeah.
gosh.
I remember years ago when I was a kid, I used to want to be in the Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
But I've grown up now, and I'm like, I'm not worried about being in the Girl Scouts anymore.
Why did you hear horror stories about them?
Well, well, it's not that, but I wanted to be entertainment
Okay.
instead of hiking in the yards and all that
I was
stuff.
in the Boy Scouts for a short time, but let me tell you, as I got older, I maybe like 13 or so, I was kind of tired of it because I'm not really
Yeah,
into being with other people.
yeah,
I like picking my own friends. Boy Scouts is like the army or something, or school even. You're kind of
yeah.
stuck with the chumps that they stick you with.
Also, years ago, my mom wouldn't let me be in Girl
No,
Scouts anyway. So
it was a good thing. I tell you, I was
yeah,
in the
I
cut.
mean,
Were you
I
in the
heard it was
Brownies?
good. Yeah,
Were you in the Brownies?
I always wanted to be in Girl
Yeah,
Scouts. I
I'm talking
wasn't.
about the Brownies, the younger Girl Scouts.
Yeah, the Brownies. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the Cub Scouts, and the Cub Scouts was really good. And then after that, I was in something called the Webelos,
Mhm.
the Webelos, and that was really good. That was sort of an
Yeah.
extra year of the Cub
My
Scout. But then
dad,
once I got in the Boy Scouts, I was kind of through with it all.
my dad was at the Boy Scouts actually.
Well, the Boy Scouts don't get me wrong, Boy Scouts is a good group, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And the Cub Scouts was for me, but not the Boy Scouts.
Right.
And the Boy Scouts was I did have some when we were Boy Scouts. That was good, and I think the reason why I didn't have enough boy friends growing up. I had all these sisters, and I was
Yeah.
basically a loner otherwise. So
Right.
then I thought it would be at a certain age having
Oh.
other younger male friends would be a good thing.
Right.
But then once I
Yeah.
got to the Boy Scouts, it kind of. But
Oh,
let
okay.
me tell you something about the Boy Scouts. I met a lot of nice boys there. They were usually well behaved and everything, or they were like minded like me. They didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I always hear these. I hear like a lot of horror stories about the Boy Scouts, but for the most part, I never saw any of that stuff. So I mean, I never saw any of that stuff. So I can't speak for people who had trouble with the Boy Scouts. But
Yeah.
I didn't see. I personally
Right.
didn't experience any of that. So
Right.
I like I said, I think it's a good group. It's just not for me. And one thing I did like about the Boy Scouts, we didn't sell anything.
Yeah.
Had we had the, I think we had to sell tickets to a something called a Scoutorama or something, and but that wasn't too bad because it was just tickets to see the Boy Scouts do tie knots and build fires and stuff. The building of fires was kind of fun.
Right.
I still hadn't outgrown that phase of my life.
Yeah.
And but let's see, I could tell you a whole bunch of stories about selling stuff. Uh, we had to sell Christmas seals, but they were like religious Christmas seals. So I went to a religious school, and there was one kid who didn't go to our church because it was a church school,
Yeah.
and he got the prize for selling the most Christmas seals, and he it was almost like Glengarry Glen Ross. The first
Yeah.
prize, as no, what was second prize was a uh, second prize was a, I think, a little plaque, with the Virgin Mary on it, and the third prize was a prayer card, and first
Oh.
prize was either a little like St. Christopher's medal or $1. And guess what he picked?
What do you pick?
The dollar,
Dollar?
which was actually kind of embarrassing because the nuns thought, oh, they'll just absolutely love the St. Christopher's medal. They like the dollar better.
Oh my God.
So and I remember selling. I remember in elementary school having to sell something. I forget what it was, but I remember we had to sell something, and this one girl got something like close to $100, when most of us only barely got $10 if we got that much. And her father paid $100 to put her over the way over the top. And I always felt that that was a fix. I said, Dad, do you have $100 so I could be on top of this girl? And he said, no, I'm not going to give you $100. Okay, I guess that's the end of that. I didn't understand anything having to do with raising money as a kid. I had no idea. Believe it or not, I still don't. A gentleman never knows how much money he has in his bank account, said Oscar Wilde. But I remember one thing I thought was very funny about that was that uh, I would, I would ask, I in this religious school, like once a week, a boy and a girl, and one week it was me, had to go with a little envelope to every kid in the classroom, and they would put their pennies or their nickels or something in for the missions, overseas. And one kid actually says, "I have $1." This is a time when we never saw a dollar, and so he gave $1, and I said, "Wow!" And I think I got some sort of recognition for raising more than $1 from these kids.
Right, right.
I got to tell you something. I never gave 1 cent to those missions. I didn't have the money,
Yeah,
but looking back on them, I'm not too crazy about missions anymore.
yeah.
Let those people live the way they want.
Yeah.
They wanted, they didn't need our help in Africa or South America or somewhere. We used to read these little things in our books, in our school books in the religious school, and they would. It was a lot of them were about natives in like the South Pacific,
Right.
and they would show them hard working, cutting sugarcane, building huts, putting straw, and then of course the priest would come and the nuns, and they would just go crazy over in a fervor over religion, as that they'd throw away their totem poles and their and their and their voodoo masks and everything, and all of a sudden they would become westernized white Christians, and these are people in the
Yeah.
South Pacific. And but they made these stories were actually quite interesting, in the
Yeah.
way they were telling them. So I told my dad, we're reading about the natives
Right.
in the South
Yeah.
Pacific. They live on an island, and they trade their precious gems and gold they find for little trinkets that we send them, like toys, like paddle balls and stuff like that. And he
Yeah.
says, and they're very industrious and they're very hardworking. They probably work harder than you, Dad. And my dad got so mad. He says, "What do you mean these natives work harder than me? If I was a native, all I'd do is sit up in a tree all day eating coconuts, and you're telling me that these guys work hard, get a nice suntan." He says, "You notice I don't have a suntan. You notice they all have suntans. You know what a suntan is? Suntan means they just lay out on the beach all day. That's first rule of not working is how good is your suntan. My the two things: how good your suntan is, and how much you know if the price is right. Because anyone who watches the Price is Right is probably not doing a whole lot
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Or Let's Make a Deal or any of these shows. So anyway,
Yeah.
so be careful with your money.
Right. Exactly.
Be careful with your new investment possibilities. And the best thing is you just work all day at a typical job.
Right.
Put money in your 401k, save some money. Don't
Right.
you know tighten the belt a little, and then and then when the nighttime comes, kick back, watch television, play
Right.
ball with your
Exactly.
kids.
Exactly.
Enjoy your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Not spend it having to sell stuff to your
Right.
friends
Exactly. Yeah.
because they're gonna hate you when they.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks. You want to do another half of your variety hour?
Yes. Let's take a break for a little while, and thank you all for tuning in. And I will see you all in a bit. Take care. God bless you.